All right, the Reds, it's Talking Reds, and you've got me, Gareth Roberts, and him, Neil Atkinson, and we're going to get excited both about the signing of Thiago, because it's done, it's dusted, and we're just waiting for Liverpool to finish their nice social media video that they're going to put out there. And then we're going to talk about Chelsea, because we're playing Chelsea on Sunday, and it's a big game. It's always a big game against them. And we'll have a bit of a chat about whether it's a rivalry or not, because people can't decide whether it is or isn't. But let's start with Thiago, mate. The news broke yesterday, and then everyone's got really excited since, as they should do. I think the first thing to say is we know loads. I think most people watching now will know loads of facts and figures about him because they will have seen the coverage. I wanted to talk about how big of a signing it is. So, like, you know, I'm of a certain age, you're of a slightly younger certain age.
Yeah, but still certain.
But still certain. What's the big ones for you? I mean, the big one for me, I've got to say, which I haven't seen people talking about. I've seen people mention Balotelli, Alonso, Mascherano, those type of things. Marcus Babbel was massive, you know.
Babbel was massive. Riedler
was massive
was massive, and that might be a certain age thing
as well.
Yeah, he really was cool as fuck. And whether or not he was, I always remember the thing everyone used to say about Riedler was movement's good, you know. After he played,
really good in the air.
Really good in the air, and his movements.
He did an header once from the edge of the box that didn't go in, but everyone went, see. Dead strong neck muscles.
Yeah, that was massive. Collymore was massive. It was a British record, Collymore, and it was where's he going to go? Because he was going to leave Forest, he was going to go somewhere. That was massive. And then I think moving forward, the one I'm surprised people don't talk about more, not least because I was a bit of a sceptic about it as it was happening, it was massive when Torres came.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was absolutely huge. And I think everyone does this thing where because he hadn't been that prolific at Atletico and he was a growing player, it was still, he was deemed the most exciting young striker in Europe. Where is the next big young striker in Europe going to go when he rocked up to Liverpool?
Yeah.
Alonso wasn't as big a deal in comparison. Like he was at Sociedad and he was going to go somewhere. Not everyone had heard of him.
No, I think with Torres as well, you know, you've got to take your hat off to Benitez on that one. I mean, there's a documentary coming out today on Amazon about Torres, so there's been various bits of press and interviews and stuff like that. And he said it before anyway, but it reminded me this week reading the piece in the Times on him. It was all down to Benitez. Benitez was all over him, ringing him himself, just getting in there, you know, doing all that kind of stuff that, you know, the tapping up thing still makes me laugh.
Oh, yeah.
They all do it.
Yeah.
They all do it all the time.
Let's not be precious about this anymore.
Rafa got his number and was belling him all the time, saying, come to Liverpool, lad, come on, you'll love it. It'll be great. And he did love it, and he did think it was great. And I'm quite looking forward to that documentary, by the way, on a little side issue. Looking forward to that one, because I'm all right with Torres now.
I'm fine with Torres.
Made me peace with Torres.
I was sort of fine with it then with Torres when he left. I was all right with it really at the time, not least because the madness of Andy Carroll, which I'm still into. By the way, he started last weekend, Andy Carroll, which I'm so pleased about. And he might start this weekend as well. I love watching him play football. It's like someone's like unleashed a beast into the wild, and we're going to see what he's going to do. But anyway, so it is massive. Thiago is massive, and it's massive in those contexts. I think that, you know, it's worth remembering Alisson was pretty massive, but goalies sort of don't count. But it was a world record fee for the keeper who everyone thought was the best one in the world at the moment we bought him, apart from people who can, you know, self-identify as Evertonians or Manchester United supporters, at which point the reality shifts. But with Thiago, it is massive, I think. I think what's going to be what is, for me, the most massive part, and it's so annoying, I write this email every day, do sign up for it, because it's normally really, really spot on. I at least like to think, and today I listed our midfielders and forgot Gini Wijnaldum. And I'm mortified, and I'm getting so many replies, so please don't reply to me. We're putting a new email out. The whole situation's a nightmare. It was just because I was doing them in alphabetical order and I forgot the one beginning with W. Anyway, so I don't know anything. There's not a big thing. Anyway, but the thing is, I want them to keep Gini, because I think that all this was so strong in the middle of the park. And at the minute, it's a bit of a false dawn, because the season started and there's just the EFL Cup games and we didn't even play one this week. But when you look at it from when we get back to October, we play Everton, then there's a Champions League game, then we play, I think it's Sheffield United, then there's a Champions League game, then we play West Ham, then there's a Champions League game, then we play Man City. And we want to be winning at least 2 of those Champions League games and all of those league games. And to do that, you've got to be able to chop and change, but have so much quality. And if you keep Gini and you've got Thiago, it's so much quality.
Yeah, and what I like about it is the idea that, you know, we've talked for years, haven't we, about how FSG do business, what they sign, when they sign them, the age they sign them, and all this kind of stuff. This is a fella, and I think Klopp's hinted at it already. He's been a bit coy because it hasn't officially been announced. We've done his press conference, and he's told everyone to keep their eye on the socials, so the video's coming. But what I like about it is the idea that he was talking about Bundesliga and the English Premier League being similar, it being a good place to recruit from. And what he's saying with not saying it is he thinks he can just drop him in and he's going to acclimatise straight away. He's got that much quality. He's that good. He's going to be great. He's going to just walk into the side whenever he's called upon and be able to do the business from day one. I mean, and this is a fella, of course, who's won 6 titles in a row, just won the European Cup. Bayern offered him a 4-year contract as well, and he's turned that down and walked away from that. Comes to Liverpool, 20 million thereabouts, 5 million a year according to Sky. Market values as well. If you listen to Transfer Market as a website or not, I quite like it personally.
It's a very good website, Transfer Market.
They've got him down as a market value of 43 million. And if you look back a year or so ago, they had him down as 63 million. So, you know, whatever way you look at it, it's a cracking bit of business.
It's a great deal. And I think that's worth pointing out. Liverpool have timed their run on this one really, really well. And it shows there's a little bit of a difference. And this is massive for me. But it's also massive because, and I mean this with the greatest of respect, and I think that Dortmund will have a really good season, but it's easier for Bayern Munich to win the Bundesliga than it is for Liverpool to retain the league. Yeah. It just is. So I think that within that, I think, again, to use the Gini Wijnaldum point, Liverpool will keep Wijnaldum to give him another, hopefully, give him the year, let him go on a free, whereas Bayern weren't prepared to do that with Thiago. But they could also think, well, we can have a season where we haven't got his quality, or we're bringing it through the ranks, we're going to replace later, etc., etc. I think it's different for Liverpool in amongst all of this, and that's what I'm excited about, is that we need that, you know, the quality with all of them in together is the big thing for me, the big team idea. That'll be the manager's big team idea. And I think that's where we are different to Bayern. And we need to get our heads around this, Gareth. I think one of the best bits of business Liverpool have ever done is let Emre Can go on a free. And everyone's livid about that, but he was only on about 30 grand a week. And at the time, everyone went, can't believe the way this club's run, and did all of that. He wanted a release clause that we'd said we don't do them anymore, and we refused to buckle. He wanted 150 grand a week. Even if that was negotiable down, it's still 6-7 million quid a year that we would have signed him for God knows how long, when we thought we had a trajectory that was beyond where Emre was, which I think is really interesting. With Gini, I think it's a little different, but we're not paying him very much money. And our idea is he'll get to have his big move somewhere else, get tons of money somewhere else. We let him go on a free, and we're not paying him very much in comparison at the minute.
And I think that's where there's a bit of respect for him as well. I think, you know, some people, including us on here at times, have said it's a bit mad the way Liverpool have not given him a better deal, because he's been one of the better performances. He's been so consistent.
So important.
You know, he's avoided injury. He's done loads of different jobs in different positions. But I think that's where the respect is, in that you say, okay, one more season, Gini, and then you go and fill your boots. You'll get that deal you want. You'll get the money you
10
want.
million sign-on fee.
Yeah. So and he'll be boxed off, and I think we'd all be happy with that. I think with this deal as well, sort of everyone's come out of it all right as well.
Everyone's happy, I think.
Yeah, like Liverpool have got a good deal. They've got a good player. It's at a good price and all that kind of stuff. But also Bayern, basically the reason that a switch has been flicked is basically Bayern, I think, and his agents and all the rest of it. You know, someone somewhere's tried to pull in other clubs, and other clubs have gone, he's already going to Liverpool, I'll jib that. And they waited, and it didn't happen, and then they've gone, okay, well, our season's starting now and we want it sorted.
Just on that, you think about Liverpool's big signings across the last 3 or 4 seasons, it's been very much that lad's going to Liverpool. So Van Dijk going to Liverpool, Alisson going to Liverpool. Now you got Thiago going to Liverpool. Naby Keita was a dead interesting one in that nothing was happening for ages, and you got the impression like Leipzig, well, like, let's have a bit of an auction here. Now he's going to Liverpool, you know, so there's no point. Like very late on, supposedly Barcelona tried to get involved on Keita, but Liverpool had done all the work. And I think if you look at Liverpool's big signings, I think that's one of the market points. I was always confident Thiago was coming, because all the noises suggested Liverpool had boxed it, and it was a matter of when and not if. And I think that's what you've seen in the end, and Liverpool have finally pressed the button because they knew they were completely in pole position, and I think that's how we do our business.
Yeah, we even had Salzburg announcing that they'd sold Minamino to us, which was really mad. But yeah, we've been getting really excited on the Anfield app about Thiago coming, because why wouldn't you? He's fantastic. There's already a good song kicking around for him, which shows you how excited people are about him. So there's all kinds out there. There's John getting his top off, getting excited. But if you want a bit of that. But also we've got Rafa Honigstein, who is an expert on the Bundesliga. He's a fantastic journalist. We got him on the Anfield app this week to talk about Thiago. And if you're a subscriber, you've probably already seen it. But if you're not, here's a little taster of it.
I mean, in many ways, what you see is what you get with him, which is a player of unbelievable elegance and skill and control and audacious, you know, ability to dribble past players. I think to have a central midfielder who just drops a shoulder and just goes past players is amazing, especially if you want to play out from the back. Pressing resistance is very much a watchword with him. The passing range is sublime. I've been told by a coach in Bundesliga who went and had his first season last year in the Bundesliga that the thing they enjoyed most was seeing Thiago warm up. So he's a guy that is definitely worth watching, even when the game's not even on yet, haven't begun yet. And yeah, I mean, I could go on and on and on because I've been a huge fan of this guy. I will continue to be a huge fan, even though it quite pains me to see him leave Munich after 7 years. But he's an absolute dream of a player.
So there you go, Rafa Honigstein, loads of stuff on the Anfield app, as I say, about Thiago, about the Reds, loads of stuff to get your teeth into, so have a go. If you've never subscribed before, now's a good time. Have a go with the app, get some tokens, you can have a go of the premium content for nothing, and if it's for you, subscribe, and if it's not, we'll just keep watching the free stuff. But we'd prefer you subscribe, we put loads of effort in. Okay, we've got Chelsea this weekend then, and it's always a tough game, Neil, and you know, when you look back sort of, you know, recent results and stuff like that. I was going to say there's never loads of goals. Literally, the last one there was loads of goals. It was 5-3. But you know, before that, it sort of swings and roundabouts. They're knocking us out of cup competitions. We're doing a lot better than them in the Premier League, though. As time has gone on, we also, of course, won the Super Cup. There's lots of talk again about rivalry and stuff like that. I wrote a piece about that actually. But also, Klopp was asked about it again in the press conference, and he done something with Vinny O'Connor yesterday, I think it was, and he sort of just going like, I haven't said anything about a rivalry, and he's like, and why he is turning it into me v Frank Lampard? There's no me v Frank Lampard, and then like, you know, they're saying to him, but you said Liverpool's run differently, and he's like, well, it is. Yeah. And like, why are you saying it isn't? And why? And like, I'm enjoying it because, you know, I've mentioned a million times that I used to work in papers, and, you know, papers, if you analyse them, love conflict, of course they do. It creates headlines. Klopp said that, Frank said that. You put a question to Frank, you put a question to Jurgen, and he's so desperate, Jurgen, to nip it in the bud. Yep. He's not having it at all.
He isn't having it at all, and he's right not to on that personal level. Like, I think him and Lampard think it happened straight after that game. Lampard himself has gone out of his way now as well to go, yeah, listen, I was on one there, and it happens. And it happens to all managers, and I think it happens again to managers when they're a bit younger or less experienced. I think one or the other, sometimes you just get caught, your emotions are there. So I think Klopp, it's really important that, like, Klopp doesn't want any nonsense, not with anyone. You know, he'll go out of his way to talk every manager up, every club up in the circumstance, because he doesn't want any of that nonsense. So I'm pleased that Klopp's doing that. There is not a rivalry there. There just sort of now is one between us and Chelsea, and I think that you've written something that I've seen on Love Follow Conquer, which I read this morning and I liked, and I think that we can. There isn't one in the same way that there is one with Manchester United or Everton, but in the same way that we still have a song that starts with "We hate Nottingham Forest" that we sing when we're in the ground. We hate Nottingham Forest, and one of the reasons why was from nowhere, and it was almost from nowhere. We just had a rivalry with Nottingham Forest, and sometimes these things sustain, and that's all right. Let's keep them. I'm sort of in favour of them. You know, they don't have to be, as I say, it's not like it's Man United, it's not like it's Everton. I've always felt almost our perfect rivalry is the one with Arsenal, where it's just enough that every game feels like it's got a lot riding on it, but in the end you can relax a little bit with it. That's the Goldilocks rivalry. Chelsea's a bit nastier and has been a bit nastier, but I think now, with them being the way they're trying to be as well, there's a chance to make it a bit more of a Goldilocks one. Maybe not off the pitch, given their supporters and all that sort of stuff, but certainly on it. And listen, Sunday's a big game for Chelsea, but it's such a big game for Liverpool. I don't want to go back to, you remember 2019-20 at the start when every match felt like a matter of life and death? Yeah. I sort of don't want to go back to that, but I sort of do. And this one on Sunday for Liverpool is back in that category, because I tell you this, if we beat City, have started the season and they're favourites, and there's loads of reasons into that, and I don't want to go into it.
They haven't even played.
They haven't even played yet. If we beat Chelsea and they get beat by Wolves, we're favourites. And that's not just a bookies thing. In my eyes, we are nailed on favourites, and that's a mad thing to say because they've only played one game. Yeah. We've only played two. but I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I'd argue with anyone. If we beat Chelsea, if we go to Chelsea and win, and they get beat by Wolves, we are favourites for this league.
There's loads of it being made, hasn't there, about all the money they've spent, and obviously Werner is likely to play. There's some injury doubt, but he's going to play. He said himself.
Yeah, exactly. He's very honest.
He's like, I want to play against Liverpool. So he'll play. He'll be all right. He'll play. Havertz as well as there, etc., etc. And everyone's talking about that money. They weren't very impressive the other night.
No, I think there's so again the Wolves thing factors into this as well. I think there's a little something in for City. They haven't had pre-seasons, proper pre-seasons. They've had the 30 days, that's it. They've come back, and even for City, they have 30 days, so you give all the players 2 weeks off. Sound off you go, lads. And for City, by the way, they knew they were in a competitive match the last game, so they couldn't rest people. So you go away for 2 weeks. By the time you come back from your 2 weeks, it's international break. So you're not even getting to do proper friendlies. I mean, whether or not we got to do proper friendlies the way we'd like is a bit up in the air, but they didn't even get to do what we got to do. And now they're coming back, and then you're going, all right, so you've had your international break, can we have a game now? No, everyone else has got a game. Oh, Sam, well, who are we meant to play, and how's that meant to work? And I think that they will be rusty come on Monday. Chelsea were in a very similar boat just a week earlier. The reason why they were Monday night was because they had no time. They had 30 days, and I think that's why they looked at... So you've got all these new players, and you've had no time to work with them. And I think listen, I'm not saying we're going to Stamford Bridge at the right time, because there's no right time. And I think that they'll be absolutely bang up.
It's a better time, I think.
But I think
you wouldn't want them to, you wouldn't want them to develop, settle, gel together and all the rest of it. And you looked at that the other night. I mean, I really like that Lamptey. He's exciting, isn't he? He's meant to be a fullback. He's not a fullback.
No. Plays right mid.
But he was having a great time down that side. And and I was looking at it thinking, well, Trent and Mo must be looking at this thinking, hello.
Yeah. No, I think there's definitely a bit of that. I think there's definitely a couple of weaknesses in there. Listen, N'Golo Kante is always great against us, and he was their best player against Brighton, I thought. So it won't be easy, and we shouldn't think it'll be easy. But imagine what it'll feel like at the final whistle if we've won that game. I genuinely will be, oh God, I'll be giving it the big one like nothing on earth. This is massive. And we did the Friday show yesterday, and Steve Graves said, if Liverpool take 6 points from Chelsea and Arsenal, everyone in the league will be like, well, here we go then. They're doing it again, are they?
Yeah.
And I almost don't get me wrong, I'll take a 4-0 now where we knock them aside and we play them off the park. But I'm banging to the idea we get a dirty 2-1. And there's a bit of luck, and Chelsea miss a late chance, and everyone goes typical Liverpool. I want Manchester City's players, manager, supporters, owners, tea ladies, grounds people, everyone connected to Manchester City to be eating the Sunday dinner and go, fucking Liverpool.
Throw a roasty at the tally.
That's what I want.
Because you've got a bad decision.
That's what I want. I want them all to be going, oh, it's Liverpool again, is it? I want them to kick off at Wolves. And all that's in everyone's head is, did you see Liverpool last night? That's what I want. And that used to, last season when we battered Leicester 4-0 on Boxing Day, and we were brilliant. And the next night was when they went to Molyneux. Yeah. And I reckon they were like, in their heads, they were still watching the game. They were still watching Trent drive one in the bottom corner. That's what I want. By the time they kick off against Wolves, I want them in there, on their coach. They're all having a bit of a chat, the lads. What have you been up to this weekend? Well, I watched Liverpool yesterday, didn't I? I think if we get that after the Chelsea game, honestly, it'll be immense.
Surely all our boys as well. I mean, did you see Robertson's face when he got asked about Thiago? He had to pretend that, he didn't know and it wasn't happening, but it's just like smiles up here. Surely they're all lifted as we are by the fact that Thiago's joined the club. Going to end with a lovely fact which I found, which I told the boys in the room about before, and Ash said, "Save that one, lad. Say it on camera." So it is this. Get on this. Excluding games on the opening day of a season, this will be Liverpool's first Premier League match against the side starting the day above them in the league table since October 2018. So Liverpool have basically been better than everyone else for nearly 2 years now. If you're not enjoying it right now, what are you doing? We're going to have loads of stuff around that Chelsea game, previewing it, reviewing it, doing stuff straight after, podcast, video, stuff on the site as well, theamforyourapp.com. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy the Reds on Sunday. Up the fucking Reds.